Dobrý den, hello and welcome to a question and answer session. This will be part one. It's just me today, Veronica is not here, but hopefully she'll be here for the second part. I'd like to answer as many questions as I can, although I want to keep the video quite short. So if I don't get to your question today, I either will in the next part or it will be involved or included in another lesson that I do. Okay, so let's make a start. Sophie Thungren, I think that's how you pronounce it, wrote in and asked, Richard, do some tongue twisters. I want to hear you try them. Okay, so actually in lesson 29 I tried one tongue twister, which was strich, prst, skrs, krk. So it's like stick your fingers down your throat. Strich, prst, skrs, krk. But just for this lesson I thought I could try one other. So the one I will try today is Pan Kaplan v kapli plakal. Pan Kaplan v kapli plakal. And that basically means Mr. Kaplan in the chapel cried. Okay, so there's one for you to learn today. So thanks for that, Sophie. Okay, then we had a question from Puz TM. I don't know if this is a man or a woman. But anyway, they wrote, not necessarily a question, but I would love it if you could share in each training session an old saying or some Czech jokes on the topic. Okay, so I will try to do that in the future. And just for today, I've got one little Czech proverb that I would like to share with you, and that is Kolik jazyků umíš, tolikrát si člověkem. Once more. Kolik jazyků umíš, tolikrát si člověkem. And that basically means as many languages as you know, as many times you are a person. So the more languages you know, the broader your character. Kolik jazyků umíš, tolikrát si člověkem. Okay. The word jazyk there, jazyk, it means language, and it also means tongue. Tongue. So it's a useful word, jazyk. Okay. We've got a question here from Daniel Myers. And Daniel asked, what are the differences between Czech and US culture? Is there anything Americans that do that would get them in trouble in the Czech Republic? Okay, so it's a great question. Quite difficult for me to answer because I'm not American. But I think one thing you should note is obviously the Czech Republic is a very non-religious country. I think it's about 35% of the population 35% of the population state that they have no religion. So that's quite different to the Czech Republic, to the USA. It's not unusual for people here to say that they're an atheist. It's a very common, common thing here. So just be aware of that. And the other thing, this doesn't really apply to Americans, but just in general, whether it's British people, whether it's Americans, whether it's Russians, whether it's Spanish people, I find if you're here and you're with another group of those people, sometimes it's better not to be too loud. So for example, if I was in a Czech pub with a group of other British people, if we're speaking in English really, really loudly, I think that can be quite annoying for Czech people and quite sort of invasive. I think it's important to just respect that you are in another country and obviously to be polite at all times. It can be difficult because British people, Americans, Australians, and other countries as well, I think tend to be a little bit louder perhaps, more outgoing than Czechs in some ways. So yeah, just be aware of that and try to tone it down maybe. But I don't know, I hope that answers your question, Daniel, and thanks very much for that. Okay, the next one is a question from Kamil Zielinski. I hope I've said that right, Kamil, I'm not sure. And you asked, how long have you been studying Czech to speak fluently? I don't speak Czech fluently. I'm nowhere near to speaking Czech fluently, but I'm okay. When I make videos, I usually get a native speaker to just run through it with me, make sure I haven't made too many mistakes, make sure my pronunciation's okay. So yeah, that helps me to make sure my videos are hopefully of a reasonably high quality in the Czech. but yeah, I'm not fluent. I have been learning on and off for about 5 or 6 years, but it's very on and off. 1 month I have a lot of motivation, then for 6 months I lose motivation, or I'm very busy at work or something. Okay, you also asked, what have you found hard and what was the biggest problem for you? So as someone who's not a native speaker of any Slavic languages, I found it difficult. If you're learning English, you're reading something, you find a word that you don't know, you just look it up in the dictionary. But with Czech, because the nouns, the verbs and everything, they conjugate, they decline, sometimes there's a word you don't know, you go to look it up in the dictionary, and it's not there because it's a different form. The word you need to find in the dictionary in the nominative case is different. So particularly to start with, when I was learning, this was frustrating, but now obviously my Czech's a bit better, it's not such a problem. I can see what the stem of the word would be. But initially that was a problem. And finally, Camille asked, could you say a story in Czech that happened to you? You're curious how I sound. Thanks for that, Camille. Today I'm not going to do that because I don't want this video to be too long, but I will do something like that in another video. So thank you for that, putting me on the spot there. I think possibly our last one for today is from Jessica Ramos. She asked about transport. So she asked, how much does a taxi ride go for these days around the city centre? Be really careful. The taxi companies in Prague, in the Czech Republic, don't have the best reputation. They're known for trying to scam or get extra money from tourists who they see as richer. So I would recommend actually calling a reputable taxi firm. One reputable firm I could suggest would be AAA Radio Taxi, and their website is www.aaa-taxi.cz. So just to give you a ballpark figure anyway on prices, a trip from Prague airport to the centre should cost you anywhere between 500 and 700 crowns. Yeah. But you don't really need to take the taxi unless the weather's really cold or you've got a huge amount of bags. You can actually, from right outside the airport, you can take the AE bus. It's the Airport Express bus, which will take you to the centre, and that costs, I think, 50 crowns. So a taxi is, well, 10 times more expensive. Okay, Jessica also asked, can I buy a tram, a metro pass that will last me a month? Yes, you can. You can go to one of the main metro stations, such as Devická or Hlavní nádraží Můstek. To get the month-long pass, you need to have take a picture with you because they make a card. It's called an open card that you get, and this will serve for for the underground, for trams, and for buses around the centre. For a month-long pass, that will cost you 550 crowns. If you're not there as long as that, you can get a 3-day pass, which costs you 310 crowns, and a 24-hour pass, which costs 110 crowns. For the 24-hour and I think the 3-day pass, you don't need to take a photo with you, so you can get them instantly. But the month pass is sort of a more long-term thing. Yeah. If you just want a quick journey, maybe you're just taking 1 or 2 tram rides or 1 metro ride or something like this, you can get a 30-minute pass, 30-minute ticket for the underground, for the public transport system around the centre, and that costs 24 crowns for half an hour. Or you can get 90 minutes, and that costs you 32 crowns. You can buy these tickets either at the machines that they have at lots of the metro stops. They have them in some of the little corner shops, and they also have them at some of the tram stops. Alternatively, you can use your mobile phone using the number 90206. That's 90206. You can text the message DPT24, and that will get you the 24 crown pass for half an hour, or DPT 32, and that will get you the 90-minute pass for 32 crowns. Okay, the public transport is really good in Prague. I think it's quite cheap. It usually runs on time, so I've not had many problems with it, and I've thought it was really good. One thing to note: if you get one of the little tickets to go on either the metro or the trams or the buses, you need to stamp those tickets before you get on or as you're getting on. If you don't stamp them and one of the inspectors checks you, you will get an on the spot fine. And I've seen it happen to a lot of people. They do check quite often, so I wouldn't run the risk of not getting them stamped, because it's quite frustrating to come away with a 1,000 crown fine or however much it is. Okay, I think that's probably enough questions for today, but thank you to other people. There's My Last Breath sent some questions, so I'll try to get to them next time. There was another question from Kamil Zielinski and MM55M5M, so I will try to get to your questions another time. Thank you very much. I hope that's useful. If other people have more information about any of the topics that were raised, please put them in the comments below. I'm sure it'll be helpful to people. Děkuju moc a nashledanou.